Will you ever design another Amazon or other fashion collection? I need more cargos. Hi everybody, welcome back. And I wanted to do a video, as you can see by the title, which is answering your questions. Sorry there was no video last week Friday. I've got some of my answers literally written down on a notepad, and I've got my iPhone here with the screen recordings of your questions. So I'm just gonna just go through some of them. Like there's quite a few, literally look, I'm just scrolling through some of these. This is like, you can just keep going. Anyway, so I'm just going to get stuck in. I just realized I've never done one of these videos before, and I know there's people who do these videos on YouTube, but I don't think I've ever done one myself. So I figured, why not do one for you? By the way, what I'm wearing is linked below. It's a cropped jumper, as you can see, because your midriff is out. And I'm wearing this super long denim skirt, which you can't really see properly, but it's really long. It's literally down to the tops of my feet, and I'm 5'7", but I love it. And I have like these Uggs on my feet. All right, let me get going and not waste too much time and just get stuck right in, as I always say. Okay, so here we go. In no particular order either. Which fashion week was your favorite last season? New York, Paris, or Milan? Let me get the notepad out. It's between Paris and Milan. I actually like them both equally. I think Paris probably gets the edge for me, and it's just for different reasons. Like, for example, last year, 2022, was the first time, first of all, that I've ever done like what I'd call almost like the circuit. I did New York, did Milan, and then I did Paris. So it's nice to be able to like look back and answer this question. Like with Milan, the first time I went to Milan for their fashion week was in September 2022, and I have to look at my notes. There was a lot of shows that I had gone to that I loved for various reasons, and it's the same for Paris as well. So, for example, I loved going to the Ferrari. This is in Milan. I loved going to the Ferrari show. I'm going to try and insert some footage here whilst I'm speaking. The best way, this footage, a lot of it's coming from my Instagram highlight at the top of my Instagram feed. I just have a highlight for each of the cities, so you can just refer back to see those. What hit me first with Ferrari is how much sequins they used, and I love, you don't know, I love sequins during the day, and that's what they adopted, and they made it super tough with like biker leather, all that kind of stuff. I just thought it was just genius. Men were wearing it too. It was like perfect styling. It was very like up my alley. I just saw pieces and thought I would literally cut and paste that outfit onto my body now. So Ferrari was good for that. Roberto Cavalli was a highlight because I couldn't believe I was even invited and considered for that, because that is a major designer, and it was my first time in Milan. So I felt super happy to be able to see really what it looks like to go to the Roberto Cavalli show. And I have a story time about that, which I don't think I'm going to put here because it'll take too much time. But the getting to that show for me deserves its own separate video. So I think I'm going to save that for like my TikTok. Like I'll just do a story time and just tell you what happened. There were designers I've never heard of, and it was great to be introduced to them, like Anna Kiki, which is a cross between Mugler meets Rick Owens, and they dressed me for that. So I wore the brand, which was this balaclava included bodycon floor length dress. It was amazing. You couldn't see my face because I had glasses on as well, so all you saw was the shape of my head really, and I had glasses on. All you could see was my face. It was stunning. I've never dressed that way, and I loved being able to like step out of my comfort zone and just be a character. But more importantly, it was to see a designer who I'd never heard of, and to see designs I hadn't seen before, and that was super cool. The same with Armano Scrivino, I think I'm pronouncing that correct. Great, I loved it. I'm going to show on the screen here what I'm talking about. The collection was sick. I loved everything. Super feminine, but super edgy and modern at the same time. Their use of like structure. There's a couple of trench coats they did that I saw on the runway. To this day, I remember them very, very well. They were so good. Also, the Roberto Cavalli, I got to go to the Risi. So not just see the collection on the runway, but I also got to the Risi. Risi is when you get to see the collection that just went down the runway, but you get to see up close. You're invited to see everything, touch as well, take photographs, video, speak to either the brand or the PR that's representing the brand, which I did, and it was just fantastic. Seeing a collection up close and seeing on the runway are two completely different experiences, because when you get to see in person, you really get to see what it feels like. You get to see the craftsmanship. My mind was like, you just don't grasp the level of detail until you actually go to the showroom and get to actually touch and hold, and you feel the weight of things. That's something that doesn't come across on the runway. Anyway, my mind was blown by the whole experience. So that's Milan, and there's other things as well, like Jimmy Choo being able to meet the brand for the very first time, Giuseppe Zanotti, same thing. So that's really what it's about. It's about relationship building as well, but being able to do it with brands that you either know of or don't know of. That was what made it. And then for Paris, same, but with different brands. So for me, I just wrote down so I don't forget, Stella McCartney, saw Miss Stella McCartney on February, and then to go again, but to go to the show was brilliant. I love Stella McCartney anyway, I'm a big fan. Seeing those jumpsuits were amazing. It's so funny because I went to a vintage shop in Le Marais, and I remember seeing a jumpsuit, and I remember then going to the Stella McCartney show, and all I could think of was the jumpsuit because it reminded me so much of each other, and I was like, wow, that's so, it's just the parallels of being able to like find things, because you know when you can like, you think, oh, I can't afford that designer, well, that's fine, because it's all about getting the vibe and the look, and you can do that in like vintage shops. You know, you just got to like rummage around and you'll see just that same kind of vibe. If they're wearing it oversized, you buy it oversized. So anyway, I'm digressing. Nanushka, yes, I love Nanushka. I own a couple of Nanushka pieces, so that was cool being able to go to the showroom. They didn't have a runway show, but they had a showroom, so you get to meet and talk to the contacts behind Nanushka and see and touch and sometimes try on the pieces. I love that. The Akira show, I love that because the rainbow of colors. Again, I'll try and put pictures on the screen whilst I'm speaking about these brands so you get an idea of what I saw. I love the collection. It was just so bright. It was rainbow. It was like all the colors I love, like Kelly greens and cobalt blues and like electric oranges. These are kind of colors I would love to wear and have worn, whether it's in clothes or in accessories or even makeup, actually, when I think about it. But it, again, ditto, it was great to be able to see them in person. Oh, and of course, last but not least, Issey Miyake. I couldn't believe it when I was invited to the Issey Miyake show in Paris. I'll never forget that. I'm a huge fan of that brand anyway. A lot of you may know from my blogging days, I own the Issey Miyake Bao bag, and I still have that bag, that silver bag. I'll show you here. I wore it when I went to the show. It was just so great to be able to, brands that names that you've heard of and you've admired for so long. When I do my street style YouTube videos, right, what everyone is wearing in New York, I run into people who are wearing the brand, and I can tell they're wearing the brand because it's signature, like the pleating, men and women, and they both rock it so well, which is why I like Issey Miyake as well, because it's unisex. You know I love unisex dressing. Just to see the collection, just to see the sculptural take on how he creates things, it was just great. And just to see it as it's coming down the runway for the very first time, mind blown. So to answer your question, which I'm probably not, like what do I prefer, like between those three cities, I don't think I have a preference, but I will say that Milan, it's between Milan and Paris for sure. Would you ever work for a luxury brand in their style department? No, I would not. Just the word department alone just makes me feel like, you know, because I just left, not just, but I've left that world, that corporate life, and I don't want to go back to it. Once you've had that taste of working for yourself and not having to answer for anybody else and be your own boss, there is nothing like it. You work 10 times harder though, I will say, because you're earning your own bread. There's no one giving you a check once a month. You are the one who's got to create and make that check for yourself. So you're working a lot more, and you're working almost around the clock because you're always thinking about your work and what you've got to do to improve. So the answer is no, because I've always said this and it's true. My worst day at my 9 to 5 will never compete against my worst day working for myself. It's just, it's much better to do the latter, at least for me. If you were not a content creator, what would be your next dream job? I love this question. Thank you. I will say that in terms of a dream, an actor. I would love to be an actor. I still would love to be an actor. I used to act on stage when I was around, I don't know, 10 years old, something like that. I think I stopped around 14, 15, but I really enjoyed it. And I had such a good teacher. And to this day, I miss acting. That would be my dream job, is to be an actor full time. Have you considered doing a house tour? Yes and no. I may do one. I'm not sure. Sometimes I think for security reasons, should I be doing a house tour? You know what I mean? But I can definitely show like before and afters and stuff like that for like rooms. A lot of you know we're still working on renovation. We go through renovations. If you're first time on my channel, hi. But I'm primarily a fashion channel, but I do, with my husband Michael, we do incorporate renovations in our home. This kitchen was renovated. You can't tell right now because it looks like a mess on that kitchen island, but that's because we've got stuff going on upstairs. The bedroom currently has 0 storage, so we have stuff all over the place. In my studio, in the living room, on this counter. The bathroom, same thing, 0 space in there upstairs, the master bathroom, because we're renovating it completely from top to toe. So there's going to be a major before and after for that. But I will leave a link below to the renovations that we've done so far of this kitchen, the downstairs guest bathroom, and then you just stay tuned. There is going to be probably about give or take roughly a month-ish from now of revealing the bathroom and the bedroom and just what we've done for upstairs. But that is like, oh my God. Wait till we tell you the stories just about that alone, but trust me, it looks so different. I've been doing sneak peeks on my Instagram stories as well, and I still am. What is your favorite color? Oh God, probably green. Green for sure. I thought it was cobalt blue because I love cobalt blue, but it's definitely Kelly green, like that grass green, or even like emerald green. Those two I bounce between. I love that. How did you discover your style and what worked for you? As far as my style, I think it's like trial and error, and still just trying things on and seeing how it, like, does it feel like me? You know what I mean? It's that almost intangible feeling of, yes, like I feel comfortable in this. This feels like me. So I think that came around probably whilst I had my 9-to-5 job and I was doing my blog on the side. I was experimenting all the time with clothes and mixing and matching, and that's how I was realizing I was like finding my style. And my style is still evolving and changing over time. I'm tweaking it, but I feel like there's a common thread throughout of like unisex style of something that's a bit edgy and tomboy, adding in that vintage and thrift to make it feel a little bit more eclectic. That's the common thread throughout the evolution. What was your profession before YouTube? I was working as a personal assistant admin in a printing company. So that was what I was doing. So nothing to do with fashion. Like I've said before in previous videos, I was dying a slow death at my desk every day. Anyway, I've got a video about that. I think it's called I got laid off from my job. I will link that below. It's inspired a lot of you who watch that video, so definitely take a look at it, because I really talk about just like, you know, why I didn't like that job, what I was feeling, and why I started like getting into fashion with like doing a blog. Just because it was free, it was easy to do, and it was a way to just like start a personal diary in a way, but about fashion and style and playing with clothes. So that's why I started that blog. What is your manifesting secret? Wow. Because I've talked about manifestation on my channel because I believe in it and I've seen it happen in my life. There's the secret. Wow. The secret is to just believe it. I know that sounds quite simple sort of, but it truly is just a matter of like believing in yourself. And that is, to me, what it is. And believing what it is you're thinking about. And not just thinking, not in a trivial sense of like, oh, I wish I could work for myself. Oh, God, wouldn't that be nice? Eye roll. You know, we can all do that. It's more about here. Because I believe in the universe, and I believe the universe matches what you are feeling. Not just thinking, but what you're feeling. And if you have felt for a long, consistent time, and that's the secret, that there's something that you want. Like, I've always wanted to work for myself. I've always wanted to do something in fashion, but I couldn't define what that was. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. So I leave it up to the universe to figure out the how, like how is it going to get me there and what will that look like? And all I know is that I want to do something in fashion, and that feeling never left me, and that want never left me for years. So that's the secret, I feel. Tips, winters to spring clothing transitions. I think I'm going to start doing that on my channel as time is progressing, as far as, you know, like transitioning into spring. But I feel like it's really just about like I feel it's almost like just transitioning from spring into winter, where you just like winterize your summer dresses. It's kind of like doing that. Will you ever design another Amazon or other fashion collection? I need more cargos. Never say never. I haven't signed anything with Amazon, so don't think I'm like hiding anything, because I'm honestly not. But I don't think I will, at least at the point of time of recording this, do anything with Amazon. I personally would like to do something of my own that's 100% my own, not in collaboration with anybody. It's in collaboration with myself. And that to me is something that has always been a burning ambition and goal of mine. Something right here that I've always wanted. So let's see how that goes. But it's something that I know I want. I think of clothes that I want to wear, and I've been doing this long enough where I just want to design and come up with my own things. I just want to wear my own stuff. I want to wear my own shit. You know what I mean? So that's really what I want. But yeah, I will share that with you here when and if, not even if, when that happens. I'll probably disclose it first on my newsletter, because I feel like on my newsletter is where I give people, my subscribers on my newsletter, the first. They know about it first before it goes anywhere else. Before it's announced anywhere, it's going to be on my newsletter. I'll leave a link to subscribe to it below. How did your idea of being a fashion creator change since you started? I don't think it's really changed. I think it's kind of stayed the same. How did you find the courage and network to jump into a creative job, being your own boss? Love you lots, thank you. The courage came from here, but the practicality side of it was when I had my 9-to-5 job, I would save every check. Every time I got paid, I was basically saving a safety net, a financial one, so that I could have that courage to quit my job. And when I do quit my job, I have a safety financial net to fall back on, like a runway. I have runway space. I wanted to give myself 6 months so that I could just go for it and take that leap and know I've got that financial cushion. Tips for starting YouTube. Well, first of all, you don't have to have like a fantastic camera. You can film off an iPhone, you can film off of whatever you can afford that can record you. You can film off of that to start, first off, right? Find what you love. What is it you love to do? Fashion, cooking, painting, sewing, I don't know, gaming. What do you love to do? Finance advice. Whatever it is that you love to do, that is what you talk about on YouTube, and you will slowly but surely find your tribe. Be consistent though. You've got to show up for it on says the one who didn't post a video last Friday. But I've consistently, overall, been posting on my YouTube channel every single Friday. But do something that you know that you can commit to and is comfortable for you. I did twice a week, but I found that it was just too much for me to do based on other things I do. So I scaled back to once a week on a Friday. So you pick a time and a day that works for you and stick to it, because when you when you show up, your audience will show up, because they know that, okay, Karen's going to post a video on Friday. I know I didn't post last week Friday, I'm not perfect, but you know what I mean? They know that day of the week that person's going to post. Think about who you follow on YouTube. You know when they're going to post. Why? Because they post consistently. And also, over time, you'll just get better and better. You just got to practice. How do you get tired of creating new content daily? Absolutely. Yeah, you will burn out. When you have that creative juice moment or moments, just write it down, keep that locked down, the list, and then spread it over on your platforms. Where is it going to go? How do you decide what trendy items to add to your collection? If it's something that is truly your style anyway, that's really the long and short of it, because that way you know that once the trend is over, you're going to wear it regardless. Your style is so inspiring, thank you. But who inspires you, and how do you curate your closet over time? Good question. It is definitely the people who I stop when I do my Where Did You Get That episodes. They're the people who inspire me, men and women. There's things, the combinations they wear, items they've bought that I never have seen before. You've seen me do it. Like I'll run out and get something from somebody who I've met. This skirt from Free People, I got it because of episode 31 of what everyone is wearing in New York. The girl was wearing it in white, maxi denim, stunning. That skirt, if you've not seen the episode, I'll link it below. A bunch of you bought it since I've linked it. I loved it so much I got it in that white and I got it in black. Sick, this skirt fits so well. Run, do not walk and get that skirt, it's so good. How to style baggy cargo pants. In a nutshell, because they're baggy, you go with the opposite. You wear something that's more sort of fitted above, that way you get that clash. Cropped, something like this. I would wear this jumper with cargos, especially if they're like high-waisted, so you just get that sliver of skin, or the top meets the top of the cargo. Cropped jackets, anything that shows the cargo, because cargos are meant to be shown, like the whole thing, at least in my opinion. Are skinny jeans over? Not really. I think it's really just depends again on your style and your aesthetic, but in general speaking of what trends trending, they're not. So, but again, it goes back to what you like. What is your diet and workout routine? I don't really have one. I need to work out. I haven't exercised in a long time and I need to. I was waiting until my surgery recovery time was completely over and I feel like it is now. So I feel like I can start to. If you're wondering what I'm talking about with surgery, I'll leave a link to the video below. It's the video where I do with Michael talking about our hauls, because he does a haul and I do one. And that was his first time, by the way. And at the end of that video, I talk about the surgery, why I had it. So it's all explained there. But I think I am past that phase of recovery, and I think I'm good enough now to start baby steps into working out. But when I do, I just do it at home, and I just watch anything that I want on my laptop. Anything that incorporates light weights, because I like incorporating cardio with light resistance, because I've always thought that's important to build muscle, especially in women. Diet wise, again, I don't have a specific diet routine. I just try and avoid or cut down, because I don't cut out, just cut down on sugars and cakes, carbs, but I still eat those things. I just do it in moderation. But I do have moments where I go a bit over the top, but then I try and compensate the next day and the next day after that. I've never bought vintage. I want to take the plunge. Any advice? Places to go in New York? Yes, I definitely can recommend some places. L Train Vintage, Google that, literally the letter L. They have a whole list of some of my favorites. They are an umbrella brand and they have locations all over New York. But I also have other favorite places. I'll leave a link below, a playlist to some of my vintage thrifting places I like to go to. Also, just for tips, just have an aesthetic in mind. What do you love? If you've got more of a tomboy style, go to the men's section. Just what is your aesthetic, and just shop based on that. That should be your driving point. Okay, I need to speed up. How do you see yourself in 10 years time with my own clothing line? Recommendations for a wig. Yes, this is not my own hair. My own hair is covered because I have natural hair. I grew out my relaxer, and because I see hair as part of a look, part of an outfit. Like, to me, your whole outfit doesn't stop here. It's everything, hair included. So I wear wigs and hair extensions and stuff like that because I like to protect the health of my own hair. So I can't afford to put a blow dryer and straightening and curling irons and tongs and colouring it and trying to go from wearing like big curly hair to like straight hair to like beachy bobs, and I can't do that with my own hair. But I can with wigs, so that's my play time, my experimenting time. I will be wearing my curly big hair again, but I'm just giving it a break because I like to just mix it up and just try something different. So hair to me is just an extension of this, what's going on here. It's the same thing. So this is by The Wig House. I will leave a link to, actually I'll just put her Instagram name here. You'll go to her feed and you'll see at the top, you'll see her email. Tell her that Karen sent you, KarenBritChick. But that's where this one is from. But I do have another one that is from someone else, and I'll put a link on this. I'll put their email on the screen, and again, just tell them that KarenBritChick, Karen sent you to her. You know what I'm saying? Are the Loewe Rose slingbacks comfortable and easy to walk in? Yes, they are. I wouldn't know until I bought them, so I had to get them in order to find that out, because I knew I liked them. In fact, I really like them, but I didn't know about that part. So it's once I got them, I got to realize, oh God, okay, they are really comfortable. But yeah, I think they're great. Here they are on the screen so you can see. Here's some Instagram photos of me wearing them. I just think they're fantastic. I've also done, I think, a TikTok on them as well. Great. Oh, I love those. I love those. And I needed something just like that. Something that's like a classic with a twist. And that's exactly what they are. Why are you doing TikTok now? Seems like the hype is over on it. TikTok is one of those things I'm doing because it's one of those areas where it's short form is on the increase as far as like the projection of what people are consuming. And TikTok is the leading platform for it. It's way bigger than Instagram. TikTok is actually bigger than Google now, statistically speaking. So it makes sense from a business standpoint, because this is my full-time job, to have a presence on TikTok because it's such a massive audience. TikTok as well is all about who you follow, right? So you don't have to be about following like 15-year-old people who are dancing, you know, they are on there, but you find your tribe of people you like. You'll find people who are just like me, people who are, do you know what I mean? Once you start, it's like Instagram, once you find people who you like, you just follow them. And that's what it is for me on TikTok. I found the people who I like to follow, and it's become super addictive in a way, in that it's different to say Instagram, because I saved so many videos from TikTok. I find I laugh out loud on TikTok because it's much more comical over there. It's like rawer, more behind the scenesy on there, which is why I love posting on there. Also learn, you get much more tips I find on TikTok. I learn it faster there than I do on Instagram. Instagram is more curated, people like, oh, here, look at me. You know, and TikTok is the way, it's the opposite of that. You also get like life lessons, even like how to save yourself. Like if you're thrown into the back of a car, you know, tips, things to do. Like if somebody is accosting you, like lifelong tips, sorry, my nose is running, I get on there and I save them. So you get so many things. You don't know until you know. And I used to think exactly the same as you until I actually got into it. What bras do you recommend? I just wear sports bras. Case in point. This is from Guess, I think. It is literally a sports bra, and that's what I wear. So I don't know if I can really recommend bras, and I just have like light switches. So I think they're comfortable for me, and it's fine. Favorite jeans? I don't know. I don't have a favorite because I like different brands for different reasons, ranging from random ones I find in thrift shops that have no name on them, vintage like Levi's, yes, Margiela, Loewe, you know, so it's the whole spectrum of jeans. So I don't really have a favorite, and then again, it's for different reasons. What is the best advice you can give home renovations, lessons learned? That video will come up, trust me. Let me see, do you want to design a shoe collection and another job? I think I've kind of already answered that, but I'd love to do a shoe collection. That would be amazing. Favorite street style look you've recorded? I don't have a favorite. I have different favorites for different reasons, and I just so right. Tell me who you actually have, if you do have a favorite from all the episodes I've shot for the past, 4 years now? Tell me if you've got any standouts that you remember, and let me know in the comments below. I'd love to actually read that, see if they like jive like with me. Shopping strategies when you can only shop online. Probably trying to just do as much research as you can. Try and see if you can find examples of it on people. I like to like Google street style. Like I'll do like Loewe rose heels, like those shoes, and I will go onto Google images and I will type in also street style to see if I can see anyone wearing them. Because I find that really helps if I can visualize seeing them on other people. Outside of that, just to find places that do return policies. Would you ever go back to England? Probably not. I love where I am now. So, you know, but I will always go back to visit. I mean, that's like that's my home, that's where I'm from. So I'll always be going back, but I probably won't move back. And I love being closer to the Caribbean because that's where my parents retired to. So happy with that. Favorite item of clothing? Oof, can't answer that. There's too many. There's a few. I always think of my Chloe horse pants though. They're the ones that Sarah Jessica Parker wore or carry in Sex and the City. Do you remember? Who remembers the Chloe horse pants? Remember she had the giant flower and she wore these pants. I think she had a date with Aiden once, and they were like, it was when Stella McCartney was the creative director for Chloe, and it was like a sequin horse on one leg and it broke down to little horses. Anyway, I love those. I have 2 pairs. I found them in a designer consignment shop. I will keep those forever, and those are one of my favorite things in my wardrobe. Why are you stepping away from Insta? I'm not stepping away from Instagram. I'm just including TikTok. What was one of the major challenges you faced along this journey? Trying to hire. It's very difficult to find somebody. I'm actually looking for an assistant right now, like an executive assistant. Not just an assistant, an executive assistant. The difference between the two is I need somebody who just got strong managerial, project managing experience and has proven experience of that, so they can show me that they've done it before. So I'm currently looking for somebody to help me with that. Also just trying to find other skilled people like videographers who's really, it's just very, very difficult. So that's the difficult part, is finding those gem people to help me grow, and just so I'm not doing everything myself, and also to try and switch off so I'm not constantly working, because even though I'm not doing anything like taking photos or shooting someone on the street, I need to switch off and have my time off just like everybody else does. So that is something that is the freelance life thing that you really have to think about. You love a good vintage thrift. What is your favorite piece under 500 and from where? Wow, I can't think. I'll put it on the screen, okay? Because I can't think right now, being put on the spot. But I will have a think whilst this is being edited, and I will put it on the screen. If there's a couple of things, it's going to be right here. Oh, this is a good one. This is, do you ever feel concerned that your work and influence promotes consumption, over consumption? It does promote consumption. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't. Of course it does. My job essentially, when I'm hired by brands, is to promote what they have, what they're offering. The brand, if they want me to promote this jumper, it's because they want an ROI, right? They want that return on their investment, and they want to see if people will purchase it. Although sometimes they just want awareness. They don't necessarily first want you to buy it. They just want you to they just want their name out there. They just want that brand exposure. So there's different things that I am doing for the brand. But overall, yes, purchasing is one of those things. When I wear things, people will ask me, where did you get that jumper? Where did you get that skirt? Where did you get that eyeshadow you're wearing? You know, so that does come as part of my job. When I had my blog, before I was doing Instagram and YouTube, and I was just blogging alone, all the questions would be, where is that from? Where did you get that? Do you have the link for that? Blah, 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 blah. So it started from jump, you know, so that is consumption. I think the way around that is to show that you can mix and match what you're wearing. Show that, and a lot of you already know this, show that you can find different ways to incorporate any item that you've bought, and to show that you keep and hold on to it and re-wear it. Include vintage in your shopping, include vintage and thrifting. Show that you can recycle, show that you can, when you don't want to wear anything anymore, that you do donate it so that it gets more life and other people can get to enjoy it as well. So, because shopping pre-loved is much more celebrated it now than it was before. I remember when, you know, I would say I'm shopping from the thrift shop, and I would get comments of, don't you worry that it's going to smell. Oh, well, I would never buy someone's clothes that someone else wore. You know, I get very judgmental comments like that. That doesn't happen as much anymore, and I think that's because wearing pre-loved and vintage stuff is much more celebrated than it was before. So, and that's a good thing. So, but yeah, to be blunt and to be completely transparent, yes, my job does promote consumption. Overconsumption is really on the person who's watching, I think, and how much you are consuming of social media. Because I think the less of it you watch, the less you are influenced, right? Because you're not seeing it, so you're not aware of it. You're not aware of this jumper that I'm posting on Instagram and TikTok or whatever. So that's a way around it. And also it comes down to you personally about just, you know, trying to shop within your means, or always shopping within your means and within your budget. And like I said, shop within your closet. And if you are buying things, just be very mindful of what you're buying. Where are you buying it from? Is it from fast fashion? And if it is, you know, just be aware that that's where you're buying it from. It's much better now, and for me, I'm doing that more so, because you hardly see me do like Zara hauls, H&M hauls, and Forever 21 hauls, and this haul, that haul. You don't see that much on my channel anymore. You are seeing more luxury fashion, but these are items that I hold on to these things, and they last me. I keep them. And if I don't, I sell them so that they can be worn by somebody else and they can enjoy them. But these are items that to me just, they stand the test of time because they don't fall apart as quickly and they just cut better, they wear better. But the short answer to that is yes. Let me see, how much time in each day do you put towards content creating, in brackets, pictures, videos, and editing? Probably half and half, really. The editing probably takes longer. The actual shooting this video is going to take me, I don't know, 45 minutes, and it's going to get to cut down, hopefully. So you guys don't get too bored. But the editing of it takes hours. Same with shooting street style, although it's slightly different. Shooting street style is a different animal. I shoot those videos myself, and the reason why I don't post them more often is because I'm shooting them by myself and I'm editing by them myself, and it takes me weeks to make one episode because I'm spending a long time just finding people on the streets. It doesn't take one day, it takes weeks. I just put them all together in one episode, and then I edit it in a way that I want to show it to you, and I give it to you. It's like a gift every single month, or I try to do them every single month. I'm trying to get one out, episode 32, for Fashion Month, which is going to be New York, Milan, and Paris. It's going to be a very, very busy time for me, so I'm going to try my very best to see if I can get an episode, squeeze one in and just throw it in there. So wish me the best of luck. But I think that's it. I'm going to just stop there. Those are some of the questions from my Instagram when I asked to do the poll on. Just ask me. Just ask me some questions. Anyway, I hope that helps. And yeah, I will leave links below to all the things like what I'm wearing, as well as, there you go, the consumption. But I know people will ask, so that's why I put those links below. And just watch episode 31 if you haven't already. As well as the episode when I was with Michael talking about the surgery as well, at the end of the episode, why I had the surgery. I really enjoyed reading the comments. I read every single one. They still do come in because of that video, because a lot of you can relate, and a lot of you were appreciated that I talked about it openly on YouTube, which I think is important to do because we're all women, you know what I mean? So let's just talk about it. It's a very common problem as well. But anyway, that is it, my loves. I will see you next week, Friday. And between now and then, I will see you on Instagram and on TikTok. Yes, I am on TikTok. And that's it, my loves. Take care. Bye. So cool. Sorry, I'm showing you the back of my Uggs. Bye.